Welcome to AT&T Ballpark here in San Francisco, California, where the 32-40 next to last place San Diego Padres would take on your dead last 25-46 San Francisco Giants. As Bruce Bochy and the club is wondering what's going on this year after what was called to be a quote-unquote franchise dynasty every other year. But to start things off, Charlie Blackmon would come up and he would quickly go on to first base as he would draw a walk. So now on the 10th pitch of the game for Matt Cain, Yovarnis Solarte would foul off the full count. But on the next full count pitch, number 11, he would go down striking out for the first strikeout of the ball game. So Matt Kemp comes up with one out here in the first inning, and he would walk as well, 2 quick outs for the Padres hitters. Now, Matt Kemp up to the dish. He would draw a walk. So bases are now at first and second. Runners are first and second. And then bases would now be loaded with 3 walks in the inning with a 1 strikeout ratio. That would involve a mound visit from Bruce Bochy and Justin Upton on a 1-2 count with a bases loaded. 22nd pitch of the inning, he would hit it up the single, and 2 Padres would come in to score. So Matt Cain already down in the hole 2-0 early on in this ball game, and things would only get bad or worse from him as the day went on. But we'll pick things up here in the top of the second with a 1-2 count. Hunter Pence would field this ball. It looks like it would be a routine play, but Joe Panik not paying attention, and that runner would go from first to third on what should have been an only single, and the Padres would pay due to Joe Panik and his lack of intensity and acknowledgement. So now you have Solarte up with a full count, and just like he did in the first inning, getting retribution for his strikeout, singles up the middle, and then now the Padres lead is 3-0. So we pick things up in the bottom half of the third inning. Chance brewing for the Giants as Pagan will step up with first and second on with 2 outs. And on the 29th pitch from Ian Kennedy, who dealt all night long, a 2-1 count, Angel Pagan would look at a ball get thrown back to second base to try and pick Brandon Crawford up, but he is too quick. So, one more time, 2-1 count to Pagan. Pagan would hit this line drive center field, but right at the center fielder. So, no scoring here for your Giants. Now we forward to all the way to the 6th inning, and Hunter Pence would lead this 6th inning off with a beautiful hit. But Justin Upton says, "No way, Jose. You can sit down," headbangs into the wall for a loud out. Number 1, he would be okay and remain in the ball game. So now Brandon Belt up with a 1-1 count. He would just foul this off. And off a 1-2 count from Ian Kennedy, 63rd pitch of the game. Still very early on, it would high miss, go 2-2 count. So on the 2-2 count, Brandon Belt would look silly trying to swing at something that was already in the catcher's mitt and strike out for out number 2. So now Casey McGee's trying to make something happen for the G-men, and on a 3-2 count, he gives it a ride, but Matt Kemp, sort of a Willie Mays reclaim catch, no looking, just puts it in the glove, and that would end the 6th inning for the Giants. Going top 7, Matt Cain's day would be done. Gives up 3 earned runs, and that would bring in the veteran Ryan Vogelsong for his 25th relief of the year. Still very early on in the year, about 1 month away from the All-Star break. And Vogelsong's first batter will be a ground out to Casey McGee, who throws on the Belt. And now Yovarnis Solarte with 1 out in the top of the 7th inning with a 1-1 count. Vogelsong delivers, and a broken bat. McGee will barely miss the scraps as he fields the ball perfectly and gets Solarte out by a couple of steps. So McGee ruled the 7th inning for us. And now Freddie Freeman would come up to try and make something happen. but on a 2-1 count from Ryan Vogelsong, 8th pitch already in the ballgame, he would get a slider down in there for a strike, and the count will go 2-2. So 2-2 count. Would battle for a while, but in the end, Freddie Freeman would make contact enough to get a base hit up the middle, and there would be a runner on first. But let's see what will happen now. Matt Kemp steps up in the top half of the 7th with 2 outs, and on 3-1 count, Matt Kemp would just ground to Casey McGee, the king of the 7th inning for the Giants. Throws on the belt, and his side is retired. So now we skip ahead to the bottom of the 8th inning. Innings running short now all of a sudden for the Giants. They only have at least 6 opportunities left to do something. But here Nori Aoki gets it past Jed Jorko at second. And Aoki will put on the blast speed shoes, or speed runner shoes, and would get into second off a nonchalant field by the center fielder. So now, with a man on second base, Pagan would line it, but a Solarte catch and a quick throw to Jerko would double up Aoki, and there are 2 quick outs. Now Buster Posey's in the game. He's 0 for 3 to this point, all ground outs, and as if it were scripted by the game developers, Posey would go 0 for 4, 4 ground outs, all to the left side of the field, and that would end the 8th inning. Nothing doing top 9. So let's go bottom 9. Hunter Pence, this inning would get very interesting for the Padres as Pence leads it off with a dribbler in front of Will Nieves and gets on first base. So there's 1 man on with nobody out. Let's see where we can take this. Brandon Belt with 1 man on a 1-1 count. He's going for a home run, and that power drug his bat through the strike zone. Even though it was a ball, he swung and would go to 1-2. So now 1-2 count would almost come in and hit him at will down around the knees and shoes. So that runs the count 2-2. Ian Kennedy still in the ballgame to this point. 95th pitch in. And Brandon Belt still battling as if this was a crucial moment. And indeed it was. But he would get paid off on a 2-2 count. Brandon Belt, Giants down 3-0, would find a way to reach, but no contact availing. He would strike out, and so would Joe Panic later on in this inning. But with 1 out, Casey McGee, 1-1 count, he would find the gap later on. I believe it is right here or next pitch. But on a 1-2 count, Casey McGee, here we go, finds the gap. And a good decision by Justin Upton not to dive or try and be a superhero, as that could have gone from bad to worse for them in the outfield. So now man on first and second. The Padres feeling heat from the Giants all of a sudden. Hasn't happened all day. They bring in their closer, and as I said, Panic would strike out for out number 2, and there it is. So Brandon Belt with your final chance for the Giants, for all these fans in the AT&T ballpark who want to see the Giants get on a winning streak or a win train. He would ground this to Solarte, but Solarte, with a mistake throw over at first, pulls Freddie Freeman off the bag, and the bases are loaded. So let's do this. Giants stand up. We bring in Danny Valencia for the full count, bases juice. Full count as in bases loaded. So on a 1-1 count, Justin Maxwell, as it were, not Danny Valencia, would take a 2-1 count to Hart. And on the 2-1 count, Justin Maxwell would strike and miss for a 2-2 count. Sorry about that. I had to cough and I tried to hold it back. So Justin Maxwell on a 2-2 count, he would eventually strike out. And this game is over. Your Padres win it here in this matchup between the next to last and bottom dweller Giants. 3-0, but the Giants did get something together, but it was way too late. Ian Kennedy's your player of the game. 8 1/3, 9 hits, 2 strikeouts. Doesn't matter when you can pitch like that and keep the Giants hitters at bay. at the Bay here in San Francisco. So that's going to wrap it up, guys. Hope you've enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever you feel is necessary. But as always, I've been your host, Jason Mathis 48, and I'm signing off.